I was in here for the rally in Boulder. I'm too old.
Kind of Squirrel Hill, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the rally was at Cary Glass Furnace.
Yeah.
So we parked in Squirrel Hill.
Yes.
Walked 2.5 miles.
Yes, but up and down really steep.
Up and down really steep.
Exactly. That hill is actually a hill. Yes. Actually, and if we hang out,
that is awesome. You make it.
and if we hang out together at all, we'll start talking like it. I know, because you do. It's right there. It's under the Pittsburgh. Yes.
I had promised one to Amy.
Oh, okay, good. Just make sure Janelle can have one when she gets there.
Yes. Probably after she speaks. They look like they have a lot of pieces.
I got like 5
They
different
can
nuts and
get a little crummy, yeah, close.
We're gonna get started in a few minutes. I think there are a couple stragglers, and then we'll get started.
Woo. We are super excited. We are thankful. We are so thankful.
I said to Jeff, I was shocked. I got the coin newsletter in it yesterday, and it said she won it. And I was like, maybe. Yeah.
She was looking really good.
Yes.
Clackamas is struggling with their machine.
I know.
They're counting. Well, no, they have a good clerk.
Yes, they certainly do. We know all about her.
So that's good.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I have no
We voted
lack
for- we
of
did vote for
trust. You know, it's just, but you know, then you come into the job. Then oh yeah, I know. Oh.
How about that other one? I forget. There was another one that was also kind of on the ropes.
Okay. I'm not. I'm a mama girl, so I watch her. Although I really helped McMullen get.
Oh yeah, I did too. Yeah.
You know, Sherry, keep a box of ballots in the back of your trunk. You know, yeah.
And sending out, stuff on her official site to promote her on campus.
Yeah. 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 It's 3 national scandals and
It's okay.
what is our count in the U.S. Congress now? I don't know. Well, it's every minute that it's coming along. I'll go with the AP. Yeah, I'll just, the boring AP probably. Yes.
My friend Jen.
I'm going to be conservative and like wait until.
I was mobilized by various platforms.
So when we have Janelle coming out, we're gonna sort of consolidate a little bit, like around Janelle.
Tight shot.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of all against the wall. That sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
We're like,
There's like 8 that are on the side.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Now, the other thing though, okay, so that 211
That is
cannot
effect, that's right.
pass anything.
That's not including ours, right?
They're always needed.
Yeah.
And when they ask, Jeff, there's this left guy.
Yeah, realistically,
Hi, buddy. Why should I help you?
realistically, it's probably like 202 to like 220.
I'm nervous as heck about it. Because, Mike Johnson was part of the don't count
Yeah,
the,
the stuff.
yes.
But it makes me
He
feel
was
like
actively
so I do
part
like
of that. Yeah. So, Okay, but we did our part. Okay.
Until I see this person.
Take it seriously.
I brought my name. Oh, you worked so hard. I was in the little name set. You want to have the name?
There's one for Eli.
I just cleaned out my name tags this morning.
Yes. I almost tossed it. I didn't toss it. I almost put it in the memento box.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I put it in my drawer where I keep all my.
I'm always like, who's behind me? Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Representative Janelle Bynum, and I'm honored to be your next Congresswoman for Oregon's 5th Congressional District. First, I want to thank my family, my husband Mark for his steadfast support and all of his jokes, and our 4 wonderful children, Christine, Ellis, Caroline, and Asa. Those who know me already know that my work is a love letter to Oregon's children. And I also want to thank my hardworking team who tirelessly work to serve our beautiful home of Oregon. And I want to thank all of you who are here today and everyone who has been with us to help us get one step closer to the future that we want for this great state. We assembled the strongest team in the country, and we delivered a win for Oregon.
That's right.
This is not in the notes, but it's just like the Ducks. Like, we're going to win tomorrow, and we're going to take the natty. But it took all of us working together to flip this seat, and we delivered a win for Oregon. We believed in a vision, and we didn't take our feet off the gas until we accomplished our goals. So kind of looking back, I moved to Oregon with my husband about 22 years ago, and we were starting our family, and we wanted to continue our careers. And I built a successful career as an engineer with a company I was proud to work for and on problems that were hard to solve. I worked so hard for that, and my parents gave up so much so that I could achieve that. However, when I got to Oregon, there was one problem I couldn't figure out, and that was how to find the type of high-paying professional opportunities that were available to me in other states. Basically, I couldn't get a job in Oregon as well as I could get one somewhere else. And eventually, I pivoted from being an engineer, and I joined my husband's family business. And as we became a part of the community, I heard the same story told over and over and over again. That's what propelled me to first run for office, to make sure that everyone's voices were heard at the table. So at the end of the day, I'm still an engineer. I still take apart complex issues and put together solutions. I still try to figure out how to do what others thought was impossible. And that's why I entered public service, to solve hard problems. I wanted to figure out how to ensure that my children, and all of our children, can build the type of life in Oregon that was unavailable to me. And so today, I'm proud to stand in front of you and say, we've solved a lot of problems together. We've built up our semiconductor industry to create more high-paying jobs, and we are holding the line in Oregon to ensure that every person has the right to make their own healthcare decisions. But friends, friends, the work is far from over. It's time that Oregon 5 is represented by a true member of their community, someone who shows up when they're needed and stands up for them even when the problems are hard. I want every single person in this state to know that their children will be able to build a life here, to afford a house, to get a job that pays well, to build a retirement, and to watch their children build their own lives in this state, to know that they are able to give their kids more opportunities than they had themselves. So, it's not lost on me that I am one generation removed from segregation. It's not lost on me that we're making history. And I am proud to be the first, but not the last, Black member of Congress from Oregon. I'm proud to be a groundbreaker because of what that means, not just for my children, but for all young people across our state, to see that change is possible, and that when something big has never been done before, that it might just be because you haven't accomplished it yet. So Oregon, we have a lot of work to do, but I've always taught my kids that hard work pays off, and I'll put in the work each and every day for you. for your families, and for our future. So today, we chart a new path forward for Oregon. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna take a couple of questions. Start with Fox.
And so with this seat was flipped from Republican to Democrat, and with the results that we saw on election night, why is it important to flip a House seat as we're still waiting to find out who has control of the House?
Well, I think it's important for voters to know that they elected the best person possible to bring their voices forth in Congress. And what I've always tried to do as a swing district representative is to not distinguish between my Democratic constituents and my Republican constituents, but to really bring the voices of every constituent to the State House and now to DC. So that is what is important to me.
And so how do you think this election result will impact the national stage?
Congress is getting a great leader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Representative Bynum, has the Congresswoman conceded yet?
She didn't in 2016, she didn't in 2018, and I haven't heard from her in 2024.
What are your top priorities when you get to DC, and how are you planning to work across the aisle once you get there?
Well, I'm a proven leader and someone who can work across the aisle. I think that's very important, and as I mentioned to you, I don't distinguish the political leanings of my constituents. I just take what they tell me at their word, right? And so they've told me at the doors, on phones, in the public, they've told me they want health care. They want reproductive health care. They want mental health care. They want to make sure there are hospitals and doctors' facilities in their neighborhoods. So health care is one. Particularly in Deschutes, they want to make sure that their life and property are not continuously harmed by wildfires, and subsequently our air, both their air quality there and our air quality here in the Portland area. And then finally, it's the economy. And one of the things I've always said, and particularly when I was leading the work on the CHIPS Act, is for those people who believe in social justice, my mantra is that economic justice is social justice. And so when you're focusing on the economy, when people have enough money to pay their bills, when they can afford the house a home that's comfortable for them, when they can retire comfortably, when they have enough money and they're not choosing between their medical bills and food, it's the economy. And so when we're talking about lowering prices and we're talking about making sure that we have competitive markets, those are the priorities that I have for Oregonians.
And what do you make on the national stage right now with some of the criticism that's been coming to the Democratic Party overall? We've heard from Senator Bernie Sanders earlier this week saying that the Democrats have left working people, and so it should be no surprise that working people have now left Democrats. What do you make of those types of criticism? I
live in Oregon, and I represent and stand up for Oregonians hardcore. And so whatever's happening nationally, I think that's the politics of distraction. I've always been laser focused. It's what my husband loves and kind of cringes about me. I've always been just laser focused on the issues, not really caught up in a lot of rhetoric, but just focused on bringing the deals home. That's what we did with CHIPS. That's what we've done with reproductive health care. That's what I'll continue to do on the environment. It's staying focused.
I'll do a final question for print. Anyone print have one? Julia?
Sorry. No, it's fine. Just had my hand raised the entire time. Sorry. What makes Oregon different than the national stage, where we've seen Republicans doing well nationally, but here in Oregon, you flip a seat, they flip a state Senate seat, and have a majority across the board here. How's Oregon different?
I would say that people in Oregon take themselves seriously enough to define what their values are. Like it's really clear what Oregonians value. They value clean air, clean water, outdoor spaces, and these are like universal. They value fresh food. And so I think Oregonians are just very clear about what they want. The rest of the nation, I can't say. All I can say is I know that when I'm at the doors, when I'm on the phones, people come up to me. Like one woman told me that she wanted her son to build a mother-in-law unit in his new house because her rent was rising faster than her Social Security. Like, Oregonians just tell you what they have to say, they don't beat around the bush, and they're just focused.
All right.
Oh, we should
Thanks,
let every outlet ask a question.
We are done for the day. We got a tight schedule and happy to be in touch with folks. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.